Welcome to Floating Leaves Tea Podcast. The babies are in the White House. The king has left the castle. I'm Noah, and I'm in the hot seat today.
I'm Sean. I was just trying to listen to what you say, and I have no idea what you say.
And
something king and something White House and baby.
And you are?
I'm John, and I'm sitting in the same seat as I was before.
I'm so excited to be on the other side.
Yeah. So we talked about coming into the podcast with a clear idea.
Yeah.
This last few days, we were talking about how we're going to record this session. And Sean's like, well, you never come up with any ideas. Are you stupid or something? And I said...
I never said that.
I said, I'm not stupid. Let me prove it.
This is all true.
So I did have an idea that I wanted to try out with you guys today.
Sounds good.
It's a little bit maybe on the, maybe nerdy side, like intense side. Not so much like answering a beginner question, but it's something that I feel passionate about and what I'm studying right now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's related to what we're talking about also, so it's not like just out of the blue. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see if there's cobalt color in my, I don't know. Anyway, you get the idea.
Yeah.
So last time we were talking about timing and getting to know your tea by the way that it opens up without brewing it, because as we learned in the first episode, brewing with a timer doesn't necessarily fix everything. But brewing in a bowl, you can see a lot of what's happening. And John said something really interesting. You said that what if we use what we learned from watching it open in the bowl to change the way we brew the tea, right? So I want to take that a step further, is let's watch how the tea is opening while we're brewing it Gongfu style to change how we brew the tea at the time we're brewing it.
Interesting.
In other words,
What?
pay very close attention to what the tea's doing, the actual leaf.
But are you gonna open the lid?
Sometimes I'll open the lid and take a look, yeah. I'm not going to open them the whole time.
Yeah, okay,
It's not like you just get like, I wonder what's happening in my Gaiwan right now. Is it done yet? No. And so I got two different teas that maybe you guys could just,
Nice.
for the people listening at home, say what the main, any not main difference, any differences that you notice.
Oh, one is darker and the tea ball got rolled up really tightly.
It's tighter, yeah.
And one is the color is lighter and the tea is more loosened up. Yeah. That'll be the major difference.
Yes, from the point that you have the leaf dumped out on your dish or bowl or whatever you're using to hold the dry leaf, you can start to look and think about like, well, what's that going to do to the way that the tea brews?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
True.
It's actually pretty big. And a lot of times I find myself not doing it. I just like, I have tea. I have dongding in the thing, and then start,
Brewing,
this is, I'm not like counting the seconds, but I'm looking at the color. Color is super important, but there's other indicators that the tea's trying to talk to you. And I find myself a lot of times not listening to it. Do we still have all that tea in here? Yeah. Okay.
Who ran the last podcast, man?
It's okay.
Nowadays, people are so lazy.
Pitcher.
Yeah, pictures are actually not as bad as I used to think. They're not that great, but they're not that bad.
I'm enjoying this, having no idea what's to come.
Yeah, me either. Isn't that great? For me, more relaxed because since I run the podcast, I'm always in a teaching mode. And I am excited about tea. And sometimes that excitement turns into such a huge imposing energy to people. And I just want to lash out all what I want to share and turn into a preaching mode. So now I just relax
Just
and
chill, yeah.
Yeah, we can just
and share my experience,
drink
I
some
guess.
tea.
I wish we had two of these.
Two sharing picture, we might have two.
Here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know why I'm looking at it. I don't know anything.
John's like, where did they put that?
Yeah, where did they put
Oh,
that?
there's one up there. There's one up there. Great.
Oh, nice. Wow, perfect. It's the exact same one, too.
This one is cleaner. I mean,
It definitely is.
Yeah, that has been well used, well loved.
yeah, it's not dirtier. It's just more tea stains.
It's not dirtier, it's tea-ier.
Tea-ier. Like it. I like that a lot. We're gonna get some double Gaiwan action.
Whoa.
Hopefully.
So this is the looser tea on the right. Yeah, I can do 2 Gaiwans at once.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me too.
I
Just
decided
kidding.
not to do it anymore. Whoa!
Oh yeah.
For,
2 flippings at once.
for those of you who are not watching and just listening, you might want to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to
It
see
just-
that one. That was a highlight reel moment.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
You want to pour up your
Yes.
water, Shu?
Shoe.
Dearest Shu?
Dear shoe.
Okay, so we know what the leaf look like when those totally dry.
Mm-hmm.
My experiment is what's going to happen to the 2 leaves. I mean, I'm not trying to like lead like I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we can all take a look and see as
Yeah.
the leaf doesn't open at different rates, and see what we can do to change it. Right.
Cool.
So they're in the Gaiwans right now.
Mm-hmm.
This one on the left immediately starts to
Yeah.
unfurl. This one is like little nuggets in there.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say something that I've noticed about tea that's useful to me, is that you need to get it open like before once you get it open, it doesn't close back down as easily. But if you don't get it all the way open, it's going to close back down on itself a lot more quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pour this one off a little bit sooner because it's more open. And actually, I'm going to pour this one off roughly the same time. It went for a little bit longer. But you know what? These leaves are still...
Oh yeah, wow.
Close up.
Totally
And
closed up.
I'm going to brew them again right away
Okay.
because they're not open enough for my liking. This one actually
yeah,
is
those are-
pretty
yeah.
open.
Yeah.
The difference between the rolling style and the roast level is really going to affect the way the tea brews.
Cool.
You can try a sip of this one.
Straight to the top of the head. The scent.
I'll do this so you can have a taste before I pour out the next infusion of this guy.
Nice. Yeah, that one really is. It's getting a little bit open, but
And this is a pretty heavy roast. You're not going to open that much. But you can see they're not like pellets anymore, right?
Correct. Yes. And then loosen up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not as open as the first tea.
Yeah, try a taste of it, and then we'll try a taste of the one that was brewed the second time. You're making a face.
Like it's sharp.
Yeah.
Even though it brewed a short time, it's like sharp.
Now try.
Oof. Kind of gross. It's not sharp that it's not it's not sharp that it's like cutting. It's more like sharp like sandpaper. Ugh. Rounder.
See,
Yeah, rounder. More comfortable.
Yeah.
Not sandpaper anymore. So what you are trying to say is that when you brew tea, look at how they roll it, how they roast it, and then maybe watch how the leaves open up. And then first infusion, basically don't pour out the tea. If you are like learning to brew tea, don't pour out the tea before even the leaves even partially open up.
Well, that's the thing, is it's not actually there's no way to make it easy, right? There's no way to make it easy. You just have to figure it out for yourself.
True.
So it's not like there's one size fits all for anything.
True.
But what I just wanted to share was, I mean, we can do this together, because I haven't done this side by side before either. To me, these both look open now. They're open. So I'll brew another infusion and we can taste what that tastes like.
Cool.
Okay.
But before this tea was all the way open, that first infusion didn't taste very good. Am I right? Yeah. And this tea tasted pretty good. Maybe not like fully the flavors there, but didn't have that hardness of this tea. Just like noticing different things.
Yeah. True.
So I'll pour the water in there again. But I guess it's the not just the looking at the color of the broth, although that's like in the end of the day, that is what you're gonna see. But I've noticed looking at the leaf and the amount that it's open, or like maybe it closed back up again, is going to make a big impact on how you can get the flavor and the color out of the leaf in the first place, right? So that idea of bringing your intention and attention into the tea can actually be as simple as watching what the leaf is doing. It's not like some foo-foo thing, like, I'm going to put my heart into the tea or something like that. Although that's good too.
That's good.
That's good too. But also, when we just brew them for the same amount of time, this one tasted kind of crappy, but it's not a bad tea. Yeah, but when we brew it with looking at the leaf, it tastes decent. This is a better tea.
True. Yeah.
So when you're looking at the leaves and how they're opening, right, would it also affect like how you pour the water onto them from the kettle?
I think it's fair to say that everything will have it, so that totally will affect it. But
I don't want to like jump away from, because I know we're focused on time.
It's a good point though. Yeah.
Because that also could inform, the way you brew it.
I've noticed that there's a million crazy things that you can do to make it like better and better and better and better.
That's why it's a process though. And that was a great question, because I would do that even like, so when I brew a new tea, and then I would like, based on my past experience, right? I would think, well, this tea, I want the water to be thinner stream to go inside of my teapot or gaiwan. And then I will taste it, say, I think something is wrong. I'm gonna use something a bit stream is thicker and see if what change, and then do I like the change, or was it like a bad change, etc., etc. And that's why this way, then you really, as you say, relationship. You have to build a relationship with your tea in the process. Because my goal is just like everybody else as a tea brewer. I want to make this tea taste not only good, satisfying. Then I need to figure out how to build a relationship. Listen to the tea, taste the tea. Does the tea tell me something right now?
It reminds me a little bit of playing music and improvising. Is when you're listening to the other person, you respond based on what they're doing, and the music has space to expand. If you're just improvising, over them like a backing track, like just playing some chords that you think sound good, it tastes good, right? I think so too.
Yeah.
Oh, much softer and like melting. Oh. So what did you do differently?
This time?
You just
not very
brewing
much.
it.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
brewing, yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
got it open.
Yeah, just got it open.
Yeah.
After that first infusion that was not open, it just got it open.
Oh, it's just melting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But like if you brew it like the first one and then just like the leaf never really got brewed and it's just like, God, this is a bad tea.
And this is where it's not an experiment. I'll just tell you about my experience brewing this tea. Is I'll brew it the first time and then let it sit, and it never got open. So I never kind of pushed the extra heat in there. Then it'll close back up again. And then the second infusion also has that.
Oh, that
And then the third infusion also has that sandpapery sharpness.
Oh,
You ever had that experience? I mean, I know you guys have, but I'll just say it for the, for the sake of the conversation. Where you brew a tea like 5 times, and it's not until you've brewed out all the flavor, it's like the 6th, 7th infusion that it starts to actually taste okay to drink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing is if you're not paying attention what's physically happening. And I've had that happen with this tea before. That's why I know that. Is I brew it like 3-4 times and it's still not open because I let it sit too long in between and I never got it open in the first place.
Yeah.
But now I can kind of just let it hang out for a while. I mean, not for an
It's
hour,
open. Yeah.
but I let it hang out for a while. And you like that third infusion? It actually tastes better than the second infusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. More. Less.
Yeah.
The body is like super nice.
Yeah, that was cool to get those 3 snapshots. Okay, so we're gonna try this other tea now.
Try the
Other tea.
greener one, yeah.
Also open.
Go ahead.
What?
Say it.
Say it.
Say what you're gonna say.
No, it's just a much much lighter tea. Kind of shocking to compare the two.
It wasn't really to compare the taste of the 2 teas. It was more to see how they open so much differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still pretty open. I mean, it could use some more heat.
Yeah.
Right? But that's a kind of noticing that we're doing like kind of almost subconsciously at this point. It's like you train yourself, at least I work on training myself to notice things so quickly that I don't have to think about them. And that's also why it's like playing, like improvising to me. It's because if you have to stop to think about what chord you're playing, it's almost like too late to make music, right?
Yeah.
The same thing is like if you have to stop to think like, crap, how do I pour the water into this one? It's kind of like almost too late
Yeah.
to
yeah.
really have that like heart relationship with the tea. So it's just that thing of noticing is not just like when you're drinking it or looking at the color. It's actually the way the leaf is responding to you. And it's
It's a lot of intuition. I feel like I wouldn't have been able to pinpoint more heat as the thing, so like that's an example of just like maybe over time, the more I drink tea, the more I would be able to see that's why you feel like what it needed.
Yeah. It's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting to me to hear that that's what you think it needed.
Because it does feel a little bit blasé.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, it's a good tea.
It's a good tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually go underneath the tongue, kind of floaty.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like it contrasts such a big tea. You got to pay way more focus to notice the light tea, just to run the experimentation and stuff. And then that's why it's like the more you brew and the more you pay attention, then the more, if you pay attention, you notice things and you figure out things. Then how does he figure out even this tea? It's because he pay attention. It doesn't taste good. So a tea brewer a tea taster have to know that something is off. Something is off with this tea today. What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Rather than pure following.
And part of it is just intuition that the tea is, at a certain point you do have intuition like that
Right.
whether it's the brewing or the tea.
Yeah.
But you have
Yeah.
to build. You just have to build it.
You
You just have to
Yeah.
build
Like
it.
that's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that's just all there is to it. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
just I was remarking in between podcasts just how much more confident I feel in like kind of pinpointing. Like I feel a lot more confident in like evaluating a tea and evaluating my brewing, and just like where one of them starts and the other one ends is it has become a little bit more in focus for me than it was when I started. And it's just a matter of like, you know, doing it,
Showing
you know?
up, right?
Just like
It's just showing
going
up.
through the pain of totally messing up and accepting that you have no idea what's going on.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes.
And I still don't, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to like really. Yeah. It's really good. Accepting, not knowing what's going on, or accepting. Also to know that I don't know enough, and then to know that I know more. You got to be more and more clear, rather than just I will just follow instructions and brew tea and taste the tea and not really taste the tea.
But there's always that thing, kind of like, no matter what level you're at, it depends on what kind of person you are, I guess. But for me, there's all that little worm in the back of my head saying, "There's something wrong here,"
Yeah.
right? And I go through these phases even where I'm just like, everything's going very well. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know. But there's like, if I'm really being honest, there is that little worm being like, "Yeah, bullshit, dude." You know.
And it probably always should be that way.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I am imagining like if someone gave you timing instructions for that one and it was not enough time, like it would be really a bummer.
Yeah, you'll be a bad
Because
tea,
you would
right?
never,
Basically.
yeah, you'd be like, this tea totally sucks. you
Yeah,
know?
Yeah.
And you just because a lot of people say like heavy roasted tea tastes like cigarettes, like cigarette butts. This one can have that. This one can actually have that. That doesn't mean that it's supposed to taste like that, and there's a way to make it not taste like that. Yeah. One way is just waiting, actually. That's the thing about heavy roasted tea.
Oh,
One way you just
right,
wait
right.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But the other way is, you know, you do a little bit of rinse. There's some other crazy stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little rinse?
Yeah.
Yeah, that first brew
Oh,
That's
yeah.
basically a rinse.
didn't taste good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just because the tea was not hot enough to expel its fiery stuff. Yeah, it's cigarette
Cool.
butt stuff. It wasn't like ready to just like let it all go yet because the pores are still holding on to it.
And then it doesn't matter how long you brew the first infusion if you don't go through that.
Yeah, you could be like, I'm gonna brew the first infusion for 5 minutes to let it open up all the way, and then you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, this one tastes like really strong.
Cigarette butts.
Well, like yeah, cigarette butts and like really strong, acrid, like tea water.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around that. It does not matter how long.
It does not matter how long you brew the tea. It matters how you find a way to open the first infusion.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not simply the longer you brew, the more
tea will
open it's going to be.
No,
Yeah, that's the thing,
You,
is
you,
it's-
you
yeah.
can actually shock a
It's
tea.
it's
also.
really easy to think of it as a one-to-one kind of a thing. There's
Yeah.
actually a lot more going on, which is
Yeah.
why thinking about it in terms of parameters doesn't work. And
Yeah.
thinking about it in terms of not thinking but watching and interacting, having a relationship does work.
Better.
Yeah. Because I'd be fearful, like, if you did, you know, because the amount of time, if you're regarding that first one as a rinse on this tea, that rinse amount of time was the amount of time that you brewed the first brew of this tea over here.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it didn't have to be that long. It could have been shorter. It could have been shorter. There's also other things that I could have done that I didn't do for the sake of the comparison. Because I wasn't trying to say, like, this is how you make really roasted tea taste not roasty. That would be a different episode.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. So there's like so many things that we try to stay focused sometimes in
Yeah.
the podcast, because I think in the past we just like so excited, right? We just like tell you 10 different things and you come up and say, wow, I'm so excited. Oh God, what did I learn today?
No, this is a good one, though. This is cool.
Here's a little nip.
Which one is this?
This is going back to the green one. I just wanted to heat it up because you said about what it would taste like if it was actually hot enough.
So this is an actually hot enough brew.
Probably not. No, doesn't taste
Still
like it to me.
not.
Because it cooled down in between. Because we did a long talk.
I see.
And so you
This is
really have to watch tea.
This is like the in-between rinse.
Yeah.
Right,
And
you
then-
got it hot again. Now you're doing another steep.
So this will be also then
Wow.
indirectly answer people's question. I brew my tea 2 to 3 times. I had to go. I come back to it in the afternoon or whatever, 1 hour afterwards. Can I brew the tea again? The answer is a yes. You can brew the tea again. Following up question, more important, does it taste good? Yeah, physically, you can do anything to the tea.
or if their question is, how can I come back to it and make it taste good?
Oh, okay. Because normally people just ask me, can I
Can
brew?
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I say, yeah,
And I think
yes.
usually what they mean is to say is like, can you and make it? Can you do that and
Can you,
it
like, bring it
works?
back?
Like, does it taste good if you do that? And the answer is kind of like, yes if, or no if you don't. I guess
Different, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's moving.
a lot
now.
more movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
For sure.
think if I brewed it this way after we tasted this one, it would have actually been just a fine comparison. The problem is that it was kind of blob.
Yeah.
It was kind of blob, a little bit blob. You know?
Yeah,
Definitely feel that movement.
yeah. There's
Under the
that.
tongue and-
It's happening.
There's a lot in
yeah.
this one.
Yeah. It's a mild tea, but there's a lot happening. But like
Yeah.
last one, if you just go in and brew the tea after the tea cools down, it feels kind of like, okay, nothing's really happening. It tastes
You can tell
good.
you tell it's a good tea.
Yeah, the taste of the tea is good, but it doesn't really have a lot of first presence, a lot of mobility. And remember, this is one really important part of a tea that make a tea drinker say, yes, I finally drank a tea. It's moving.
Yeah.
A tea has to move. And I'm not talking about cha chi at all. I'm talking about the liquid is actually moving. Yeah, and then partially then there's a cha chi, of course, got attached to it. But don't imagine, oh, I have things like coursing through my body right now. Oh, I feel so good. Yes, it feels good because physically then it's moving.
And there's physical like identifiable physical things that it does. And this is like a lot of times what happens when I'm teaching a class is people will notice like certain like physical placement of the broth in their mouth because they've never thought about that before, and it's really exciting for me. But they'll notice different things because everyone's experience and what they've what they're gonna focus on a little bit more is different. There's this whole development that's happening, and I'm always like, you're feeling your cheeks, great. I also feel it in my cheeks. You're feeling on top of your mouth, great. I'm also feeling on top of my mouth. And they're like, that's because it has almost like a whole development that if you trace the whole thing, and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But there's actually a point for me that I notice that this tea didn't get to, is it didn't get to this kind of, there's a point on the top of the, kind of like towards the back of the palate, the top of the roof of my mouth towards the back, that it can go through and into my sinuses. And once I have that kind of open, there's like a completion. Yeah, so there's like the actual physical movement of the thing happening.
Yeah. And only when that happens, then when you want to trace other things, then there is the chance. Because like this tea is actually a very light tea, but it's moving and boom, it bloom up into the head. It got to have this foundation to be able to bloom. If not, the tea, it's just imagination. It doesn't bloom. Yeah. And you want to talk about this is cha chi, yeah, please go ahead. If this is not cha chi, I have no idea what this is. Yeah, but before you trace the cha chi, you trace the physical foundation of a tea. When the tea is moving and there's a center point and then it starts to move, then sometimes you'll move to the places that the liquid cannot get into. When the liquid, if the liquid get into your brain, you have a serious problem. But man, I seriously feel this tea
yeah.
just bloom inside of my head.
So why is it Xing now, right? Why is it like awakening the brain? Gong fing. Why? Right? It's a physical
I
thing.
like the sound effect. Gong fing. Always watch out for that, John.
It's like a traceable physical. It's not like oh, I feel like this high going into my brain. You know, it's not like it's actually a physical thing. It's pretty simple.
You can actually.
It's not easy to trace, but
Yeah.
because it's quite subtle, but it is simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this tea didn't have it, so I didn't feel like we didn't feel like finished when we finished drinking it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like we drank tea because it can't do what tea's supposed to be able to do.
But this will feel a little bit more complete.
Yeah.
Yeah, because finally it's going somewhere else than one place only. Or stay.
Yeah.
Stay,
It's more like
stale.
Stay.
Yeah.
Is that?
There's a word for that in the way we describe tea in Chinese. Dai dai de.
Oh, 呆呆的.
What's it mean?
Maybe it's dull, D-U-L-L.
Oh, okay. Getting my mind blown.
Did you feel the blooming? Is that why?
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, because I think the way that you're describing it is like, it like is what it is, but I haven't been able to, like, I'm not able to say it like that, and that's such a great way of, like, helping to see it clearer, if that makes sense. Just to give it that description.
Seriously, like a tripod. Boom and boom.
Oh yeah.
You right? Boom up and boom down. And then
That's great.
there's a focal point up and split up and go down. Oh,
Wow.
this is a powerful tea. This is wonderful. And maybe it's too much to talk about I think we kind of just wander off, but this is great because
great.
it's what the tea session is supposed to be. It's really helpful to drink tea with people.
Oh,
It helps people to make discoveries too, and to stay focused. Cause like, I don't think you cannot see those things. You are just not experienced to either describe or like not. You are not experienced to like look at that part of a tea until, because you build so much foundation with us, that you are physically ready. And then when we mention that, you actually feel it. But it just takes somebody to mention that to you at that moment. That it will help you later to also discover tea on your own. That you go home and you're like, well, this tea, then this next tea that I'm drinking at home, will it do that? Then you have to watch it clearly. Yes, it can, or no, it cannot. Because once again, tea drinkers have to make assessments on the teas that we receive, on how to drink it and how to brew it, and how to experience it. And extremely important to drink tea with people.
yeah.
Especially really beneficial if you know that person has more experience than you. That's where you are gonna go forward.
It's very real though, right? It's just like very real.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 I mean, as soon as you said tripod, I just like, it's still, I feel that still, you know, so like clearly.
Yeah. And then the presence stays.
Yeah.
It's like, it stays. The
Yeah.
shape
It's
stays, the
just still
presence
there,
stays.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you see how much more that happened that last infusion,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because I was paying more attention to what I'm doing, right? That's why it's so important to just be the tea brewer's job is just to come back to it. I don't know if you noticed people at home because maybe the camera was on you guys. I was checking on the tea because I brewed it for quite a long infusion, smelling it, seeing if the leaves are too compressed down, you know, just to come back to that idea of just looking at what the leaves are doing, right? If I'm going to try to brew it for another infusion, does it have more juice in there? Yes, but you don't know until you know, smell it, and you don't know what that smells like until you have enough experience. So it's like it's really it's a very real, concrete kind of
use your senses
Use
and
your senses,
you
yeah.
build up experience. Like, because people ask also that question, like how many infusions? Is that they have to be a number. Like, but he just answer himself. He smell it. Can the next infusion have a juice? You got to decide though, because it's not a number. Because we didn't count how many infusions, and it's not a competition. Like, oh, this tea can do 10.
Yeah.
I don't care if the number 5 to 10 is really bad. What if number 5 to 10 is dead?
And some teas can do more, but there's not like a precise number. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
depends on what you did every other
Yeah.
infusion up till then.
So like assessment, smell the tea, can I brew more? And decide. And sometimes also invasive failures. Maybe my assessment is really wrong.
Yeah. Wow, I really need to work on that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
decide,
really cool.
can you do the next infusion? Will it be good? And build up that last infusion. Because you don't want to end in the infusion that,
Yeah, this is really cool.
we are experiencing some technical issues and it's already so much happening and it's a great session.
Yeah, great session.
Might be need to follow up, might not be. It's just great session and we're going to say goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.